Hey folks, the American black bear population is now approaching 1 million, and that rapid growth is creating some serious environmental and social challenges. As forests shrink and cities spread, land use changes like deforestation and urban expansion are pushing bears out of their natural habitats. The result? These powerful animals are showing up closer than ever to neighborhoods, farms, and communities, sparking dangerous encounters and costly conflicts. So how is this rising bear problem really impacting everyday Americans? And what steps are being taken to keep people and wildlife safe? Stick around as we break it down, and make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any updates. On July 24th, 2024, tragedy struck in Travis County, Texas. A man named John was riding his bike along a rural road when a black bear attacked without warning. Despite quick action from bystanders and an urgent rush to the hospital, John succumbed to his injuries just a few hours later. The severe head trauma he suffered serves as a stark reminder of just how unpredictable and dangerous wildlife encounters can be. When it comes to protecting communities from these risks, firearms remain one of the most relied upon tools. Across the United States, black bear hunting with rifles is not only widespread but considered one of the most effective methods. Hunters often turn to powerful large-caliber rifles like the .3006 Springfield, .308 Winchester, or .300 Winchester Magnum for the stopping power and penetration needed in such high-stakes situations. What about you? If bears roamed your area, which rifle would you trust most? A quality rifle scope can make all the difference, especially when hunting at long range. Accuracy improves dramatically with clear optics, and since black bears are most active during the low light of dawn and dusk, a rugged scope designed for those conditions is a must-have. Just as important, hunters are required to carry the proper paperwork, a valid hunting license and bear permit, which vary from state to state. Staying familiar with local hunting regulations and open seasons isn't just smart, it's the law. How do you keep up with the rules where you live? Once a bear is spotted, patience and observation come first. Hunters need to evaluate the animal's behavior, size, and location to be sure it's legal and safe to pursue. With the help of a rangefinder, they confirm the bear is within effective shooting distance before setting up for the shot. Precision is everything. A steady position, whether prone, kneeling, or braced on a rest, maximizes accuracy, especially at longer ranges. Ethical hunters aim for the vital zone, targeting the heart area just behind the shoulder to ensure a quick, humane kill. And before squeezing the trigger, every responsible hunter checks for branches or brush that might deflect the bullet. Have you ever held off on the perfect shot because of an obstacle in your way? Hunting black bears with rifles comes with some clear advantages. Rifles deliver greater accuracy and longer range than most other methods, giving hunters the ability to keep a safe distance from such powerful animals. Beyond personal safety, regulated hunts, often overseen by state wildlife agencies, play a critical role in managing bear populations. These controlled efforts help prevent overpopulation, reduce dangerous human-bear encounters, and ultimately support long-term conservation. Have you ever taken part in a managed hunt through your local wildlife department? Bear hunting also makes a real impact on local communities. Every license, permit, and piece of gear purchased pumps money back into the economy. On top of that, the fees and taxes collected from hunters directly fund conservation programs, ensuring healthy wildlife populations and sustainable hunting opportunities for future generations. Of course, hunting black bears isn't without its challenges. These animals are incredibly powerful, and if a shot doesn't drop them instantly, the danger of a sudden charge is very real. Beyond the physical risks, there's also an ethical debate that continues to divide opinions. Some see hunting as necessary wildlife management, while others believe that killing bears solely for sport or trophies crosses a moral line. The question of whether hunting can ever be purely recreational remains a heated topic. On top of that, regulations add another layer of complexity. Hunting rules vary widely from state to state, often including strict limits on seasons, quotas, and the types of weapons or method allowed. Staying informed is essential, not only to remain compliant with the law, but also to hunt responsibly. When hunting isn't managed sustainably, the ripple effects can harm entire ecosystems. Overharvesting disrupts predator-prey balance and may trigger unintended consequences for both wildlife and the environment. So, what's your take on the ethics and environmental impact of hunting? We'd love to hear your perspective as we dive deeper into these issues. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay connected for more insights and discussions. If you're on board with this viewpoint, drop a like on the video. If you see things differently, let us know by leaving a 0 in the comments. We welcome every opinion.
É empolgante. Antes de partir para o centro da Califórnia,
areas. Stray shot. Boars and shoot off. Welcome to Northwoods Pursuit. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more hunting action. Today marked the kickoff of this year's first wild boar control operation. Teaming up with local residents and wildlife officials, we headed straight into the most heavily infested zones, areas where these aggressive animals have wreaked havoc for months. Wild boars aren't just a threat to crops. They attack livestock and can be dangerously unpredictable when humans cross their path. We hit the rendezvous point early and jumped straight into action. Scopes up, eyes sharp, we started scanning the terrain. It didn't take long. A massive herd was moving through the brush. Once everything was in place, we opened fire. Hitting precise shots at long range wasn't easy, especially with how quickly they moved, but years of tracking and hunting experience paid off. We managed to bring down a few, enough to make a dent, but the fight is far from over. After fine-tuning our scopes, we kept the pressure on. More boars dropped as they scattered, trying to disappear beneath the thick canopy. Then, out of nowhere, another one stepped into view. I lined up the crosshairs, took the shot, and watched it tumble down the hillside. A few others nearby, didn't get away in time, we took them down fast. But plenty still managed to vanish into the woods, slipping through the chaos. We repositioned to a new ambush spot, hoping to catch them off guard again. That's when it happened. An absolute monster of a wild boar burst into view. We weren't ready. It suddenly pivoted and charged, rage in its eyes, heading straight for us. There was no time to hesitate. We opened fire in a frantic burst, and I landed the final shot just before it reached us. It was close, too close, but that's the kind of danger that comes with this territory. After the earlier firefight, we shifted to a new ambush position, hoping to get the jump on any stragglers. Just as we were settling in, the unexpected happened. A massive wild boar came barreling out of the brush. We'd let our guard down for a second too long. Without warning, it changed course and charged straight at us, eyes wild with fury. There was no time to think, just act. Gunfire exploded as we scrambled to stop it. I managed to take the beast down just in time, seconds before it could cause real damage. Not long after, another one broke through the undergrowth with a sudden burst of speed. I didn't hesitate, lined up the shot, and dropped it with a clean hit to the head. Still, in the middle of all the chaos, a few of them managed to slip away into the trees. That's the nature of this fight. Every second counts, and not every shot lands. From our vantage point high above the valley, we caught sight of another large herd moving fast through the terrain. Even at a distance, we could clearly count over a dozen wild boars, charging through the underbrush. We managed to take out several in the initial crossfire, but more kept pouring in. Charging them head-on was getting us nowhere. They were too quick, too scattered. So we changed tactics. We split into smaller teams and circled around, setting up ambush points from multiple angles. That shift made all the difference. The moment they came into range, there was nowhere for them to run. Every shot counted, and this time we had them dialed in. By the time afternoon rolled around, we had made our way down into the fields at the base of the hill, and that's when the true scale of the wild boar problem hit us. These animals weren't just big, they were massive and faster than we expected. Getting within range on foot was nearly impossible, so we had to rely on vehicles just to close the gap. As soon as they came into our sights, we didn't hesitate. The shots rang out. The terrain down there was wide open, which helped us move quickly, but it also gave the herd room to scatter in every direction. Tracking them became a chaotic mess. We took out as many as we could, but it wasn't easy. Despite their high numbers in this region, hunting wild boars is no walk in the park. They've grown more cautious with each encounter. Gunfire makes them smarter, faster, and far more elusive. By the end of the day, we were running on fumes, physically beat and mentally spent. We pulled back, took a breath, and started planning our next move. The hunt isn't over. Tomorrow we go again. Days like this remind us that hunting isn't just about the adrenaline. It's about responsibility, strategy, and respecting the land we share with these wild animals. Controlling the wild boar population helps protect our farms and our communities and the delicate balance of the ecosystem. But make no mistake, this isn't easy work. Every hunt teaches us something new, and the mission is far from over. If you found this journey intense, just wait until you see what's coming next. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and follow along as we head back into the wild. The story continues in the next episode. You don't want to miss it. This video is for educational and awareness purposes. All scenes follow local laws and ethical hunting guidelines. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're diving into a wild and gritty showdown, humans versus one of the most destructive invasive species on the planet. These animals aren't just a nuisance. They wreak havoc on entire ecosystems and devastate agricultural lands. This is the gripping story of a farmer's uphill battle to protect his livelihood from an unlikely enemy, the wild boar. It might look harmless at first glance, but don't be fooled, this creature is a walking wrecking ball. Just this past fall, deep in rural Texas, cornfield became ground zero for an all-out invasion. Dozens of feral hogs stormed the land, and what they left behind wasn't just damage, it was devastation. These beasts don't graze, they plunder. With noses that can sniff out food from miles away, they moved in with their young, tearing through crops meant for harvest and leaving the soil looking like it had been through a war zone. In this story, we'll uncover how one simple misstep during planting season can open the door to disaster. When farmers don't take precautions, they risk losing everything before a single sprout breaks the soil. Wild boars are quick to seize the opportunity. They'll root up freshly planted seeds before they even have a chance to grow. Their heavy tracks are often the first sign of trouble, stamped clearly across the soft earth. And when they hit a cornfield, they don't nibble around the edges. They charge straight to the heart of it, tearing through rows like a wrecking crew. Corn isn't just food for wild boars. It's a full-course buffet packed with energy and nutrients. That's why they're drawn to it like magnets. These fields become their perfect hideout and feeding ground, offering both cover and calories. But what starts as a feast for the hogs quickly turns into a nightmare for farmers, as entire acres are leveled in a matter of hours. Across the U.S., wild boars are more than just a rural nuisance. They're a full-blown crisis, racking up an estimated $2.5 billion in damage every year. In Texas alone, during the peak of corn harvest season, the problem gets so out of hand that state agencies are forced to ramp up control efforts. But despite traps, fences, and coordinated hunts, the boar population keeps growing. And so does the destruction. For countless farmers, it's like fighting a losing battle, one field at a time. Sure, hunting wild hogs has become a favorite pastime for many sport shooters, but there's more to it than pulling a trigger. Legal restrictions and safety rules are critical, especially when hunting on private land or near crops. Hunters often lie in wait, moving quietly and taking careful aim when the animals let their guard down. Still, as thrilling as the hunt may be, it's only a temporary fix for a long-term problem. When wild boars tear through cornfields, they don't stop at the farm's edge. They often push into nearby neighborhoods, bringing chaos with them. Picture this, you're out for a casual bike ride past a quiet field, and out of nowhere, a wild hog bolts across your path, tearing through fences, brush, and anything in its way. These animals aren't just a threat to crops. They're a danger to people, pets, and property. While farmers have tried to hold the line with fences, traps, and deterrents, the results are hit or miss. Boars are smart, strong, and relentless, especially during harvest season. In some of the worst cases, entire teams of hogs have been known to decimate up to 50 acres of corn in a single night. That's not just frustrating, it's financially devastating. In a desperate effort to take back their land, some farmers have turned to night hunts right on their own property. But this isn't a job for amateurs. Tracking wild boars in the dark takes years of experience, a steady hand, and razor-sharp instincts. These animals move fast, travel in aggressive packs of 10 to 20, and don't give second chances. One misstep and they're gone. But the damage goes far beyond the fields. Wild boars aren't just crop killers, they're a full-blown ecological threat. They pollute water sources, endanger livestock, disrupt native wildlife, and even put people at risk. These invasive beasts will eat just about anything, from plants to small animals, even the remains of the dead. They're not just pests, they're a growing danger that's forcing rural communities to stay constantly on guard. Wild boars aren't just a rural problem anymore. They've been spotted digging through city dumpsters, spreading disease, and even bringing traffic to a halt as they charge through urban streets. This isn't just a nuisance, it's a growing crisis. The fight to protect our farmland, wildlife, and communities is intensifying, and the need for real, lasting solutions has never been more critical. But this battle goes far beyond cornfields. It's about safeguarding our environment, securing our food supply, and defending a way of life that's been built on the land for generations. So let's stand behind the farmers and ranchers on the front lines, because what they're fighting for affects us all. But wild boars are just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. Invasive species are wreaking havoc across the globe. Take Australia, for example, where an estimated 287 million feral rabbits have drastically transformed both the natural environment and farming landscapes. What started as a small population quickly spiraled into an ecological nightmare. And rabbits aren't the only issue. Australia has also been locked in a long-term struggle with other invasive animals like wild goats, feral camels, and European red fox. Many of these species were brought over by European settlers centuries ago, intended for food, milk, or sport hunting. But once they escaped into the wild, They multiplied rapidly, outpacing native species and upsetting fragile ecosystems. To keep these invasive species in check, the Australian government has approved large-scale hunting of certain animals. In fact, some farmers have found a way to turn the problem into profit, capturing and selling invasive species to help offset the financial damage they've caused. So while the thrill of the hunt might draw headlines, the real takeaway here is this: managing invasive species like wild boars and feral goats isn't just about pulling the trigger. It's about protecting ecosystems, supporting farmers, and preserving a way of life that's under siege. Responsible hunting, guided by science and regulation, can play a role, but it's only one piece of the puzzle. As our natural world faces mounting pressure, awareness and action matter more than ever. Thanks for tuning in. And if you care about wildlife, agriculture, and the future of our environment, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out our next video. The fight is far from over. This video is for educational and awareness purposes. All scenes follow local laws and ethical hunting guidelines.